Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel for another video. Today I'm sitting down to share with you guys a curriculum review and give you my thoughts and opinions on it. This video is going to be on The Good and the Beautiful's new, or should I say newly released, History Year 1 and History Year 2, which has just been released. So very exciting to see that second history come out from The Good and the Beautiful, and I am here to share with you guys my thoughts on it. If you are new to my channel or you happen to just be clicking on this video, my name is Ashley. I am a homeschooling mom of 4 with 1 graduate. So I've graduated 1 child from my homeschool, getting ready to graduate my 2nd child from our homeschool this year. And as of the point of filming this, you might be watching this in the future, I have been homeschooling for over 10 years. So before we take a look at The Good and the Beautiful's new histories, let me just give you guys a brief overview, so to speak, of the history that they had prior. Now, if you're a longtime viewer of my channel, you know that I used History Year 1, 2, 3, and 4 from The Good and the Beautiful before these versions were released, which obviously has just been within the last year or so. So I taught all 4 of my children for 4 years using The Good and the Beautiful history, and we enjoyed it back then. Now, they have revised their histories for a lot of different reasons, and I can confidently tell you that the improvements that they've made are great. They're all great improvements. Was the history back then bad? No, we used it, we loved it for 4 years. But is this version better? Yes. While still remaining true to all of the things that I love about The Good and the Beautiful's curriculum and that I loved and my kids loved about their history curriculum in the past, yes. But the improvements that they have made, although small, are worthwhile. They are good improvements. So some of the things that have changed most notably when it comes to their history, which this is year 2, this one just released. And then this is the cover of this is my daughter's Student Explorer. So this is year 1, which came out about 6 months before History Year 2. Most notably, the changes are everything is in color. The previous versions of history from The Good and the Beautiful were black and white. So that is a huge change. A second change that is incredible is the fact that the Student Explorer now comes bound and sent to you exactly like this from The Good and the Beautiful. Now, if you have a younger child, you're obviously not going to have the 7 and 8 grade level Student Explorer. I have the this one is 3 through 6. This is for History Year 2 and this purple one is for History Year 1. But to just give you a glimpse at the difference, because that'll be pretty much the same. So these are lesson extensions. These are meant for older kids. So this is for grades 7 and 8, and this is for grades 3 through 6. So you can see the size difference. However, they come bound, which is amazing. The previous versions you had to print out and hole punch yourself and organize yourself and put together how you wanted. And so this is just even better. Not to mention that the Student Explorers of the old version of history from The Good and the Beautiful were black and white. These Student Explorers are colorful. They have color in them. And so that is really awesome. I think color is much needed. Another improvement that they have made is that there are no longer the Cat and Jack stories that are told at the beginning of the history lessons. Those were a part of the older years. And although my kids did enjoy those at that time, they now include what is the big book of history stories. And so you can read this to your child or have your child read this, or you can utilize the Good and the Beautiful's app and have it played if you want them to listen rather than read or have you read. So that is another change. The other thing that there's a bunch of small other little tweaks and changes, but overall the heart of the curriculum stays the same. Every year is going to go through 4 different time periods, which I really like because studying one time period of history can be kind of boring. And so every year it's going to take you through 4 different time periods. And so you're going to go from ancient times to Middle Ages to, like colonial or pioneer. And so it's nice to travel through those different time periods. When I get to the flip through portion, I'll show you exactly what time periods the curriculum goes through. But History Year 1 is the one that I am doing with my daughter this year in the 8th grade. I'm doing it with her one-on-one. So Unit 1, which is about 15 lessons, is on ancient history. Unit 2, the Middle Ages, Unit 2 is the Middle Ages and the Renaissance. Unit 3 is the French and Indian War through the Revolutionary War. And Unit 4 is the Victorian era, the history of flight, and the Cold War. And so altogether in History Year 1, there are 60 lessons, which makes it great because you can do history a couple times a week. Or if you're like me and you're doing it with an older child and you want to do it every day, then that leaves you time to throw in some other unit studies or historical things. I have plans for us at the end of the year, and so I'm excited about that. Now, History Year 2, which just released, is going to go through the same thing. However, the ancient study in Unit 1 is on ancient Greece and ancient Asia. Unit 2 is on Vikings exploration in pre-Columbian America. Unit 3 is colonial America and the US Constitution. And Unit 4 is history of US education in World War I through the Great Depression. And again, 60 lessons in this history. So when you order the Good and the Beautiful history, it is open and go. You do not have to do anything. You do not have to prepare anything. You do not have to print anything. Everything is done for you. So for the sake of keeping it nice and simple, History Year 2 just released. And so when you order it, you will get your history course book. This is the book that you are going to be reading out of. It is so user-friendly and homeschool mom friendly. It tells you exactly what to say, questions to ask, time for thought, activities, all the things. It tells you what you need to do at the beginning of the lesson. So you're going to get this. You are also going to get the big book of history stories. You're going to use this in conjunction with your course book and have your child read or have you read some of the stories that go along with it. This is in color, and the pages are all illustrated really beautifully, and so you're going to get that as well. You are also going to get a map and images book that you are going to be referencing, and there are things that you will punch out and have your children look at. But these are all historical maps and images. And again, it's in color now, so that is fantastic. And then the last component is going to depend on your child's age for their Student Explorer. Are you going to get them grades 3 through 6, which is for younger children, or are you going to get the Student Explorer for grades 7 and 8, which is for older children? Again, you don't have to live and die by that grade level. If you've got a kid who loves history, who is ready for more or wants more, you can always utilize both. You can pick and choose. You can decide to do some in here and some in this one, whoops, or vice versa. So it is totally up to you. But that is everything that you are going to need for your history to be able to teach your children. And Year 1 is very, very similar, although there is a game that does come with Year 1, which is the Time Tunnel Review cards. And these are basically like fact flashcards. My daughter was just practicing these today. For example, this is Joan of Arc, and then on the back are some really important facts. And so so I like her to narrate back to me without looking at the card. I just show her the image, some really, you know, overall general facts about the person or the item or whatever it is that's on the card. So that is kind of an overview of the Good and the Beautiful's history, some of the changes that they've made that I have noticed being a longtime user of the Good and the Beautiful. In fact, you can go back on my YouTube channel and watch me use the history of the previous version, and you'll be able to see some of the differences that I talked about. But overall, the curriculum is so wonderful, and we are so happy to be using it in our homeschool again this year, especially me getting to teach one-on-one with my daughter in the 8th grade. So I wanted to share this with you guys. I will link to both of these history courses down in the description box for you. So if you would like to order them, those links are there for you as well. Or if you're gonna come back to this video later on when you're ready to order curriculum, those links that are there are a way that you guys can support my channel and for me to be sharing curriculum at no extra charge for you. So it just helps the Good and the Beautiful see where people are coming from. So I do appreciate you guys using them. But now I'm gonna flip around the camera and just show you a quick little flip through so you can kind of get a closer look at some of the pages of History Year 1 and Year 2. I'll show a little bit of both. Okay, so here is a look at the time tunnel review cards. Like I mentioned, this is a quick review activity that you will see reference to do at the beginning of some of your lessons. And the cards generally correspond with the most recent one down to the last one that you did. So right now my daughter is reviewing about 7 or 8 of these at once, and they're just very helpful. So the time tunnel review cards, you'll see cards 1 through 21 go with year 1, cards 22 through 43 go with year 2, which I was mentioning, and then these other cards go with year 4 or year 3 and year 4, which those years have not been released at the point that I'm filming this, but they are on their way. For your history course book, you will see that it is very simple to follow. It tells you the items that you need. On the page, I just opened up to a random lesson here. Let's zoom in a tiny bit. And at the top, it tells you the lesson number. Then it gives you what you're going to be reading to your child. There's the Let's Connect questions that you're seeing here all throughout. So you're pausing and discussing, which I really love. And then it gives you something up here in this particular lesson where you're looking at a picture in the Maps and Images book, and then it tells you to do their Student Explorer activity at the end. This one has multiple student activities. So there was another one that's here. So this lesson was about 4 pages, and then the extension at the end, and then you'll see now you're on to a new lesson. So it's so easy to do this curriculum. In fact, I have had to be out of the house a few times, and I've been able to just tell my husband what lesson number we're on, and he's been able to do history with my daughter. So that's been a blessing because it's so user-friendly that anybody can open it up and kind of pick up where you were. So I love that. Now for Student Explorers, I already showed you this book, but inside it's going to have the lesson that you're on up there. It's going to tell them what to do. And then there's an extension that usually involves some reading and some writing at this age. And like I said, this is the 7 to 8. So 3 through 6 is going to be different. Now, History Year 1, Maps and Images book. It'll reference the lesson up top so you know what you're doing, and you're going to be looking at this as you read. Really beautiful in color and some really wonderful pictures and images from around the world for them to look at. So that is everything that is in there. And then the history, big book of history stories for year 1, same thing. It's all color. The stories for older kids are going to be very easy to read, very simple, but obviously always worthwhile reviewing and just an easy book to read. It doesn't always have to be the most challenging thing they've ever read. So I love this book. when for my daughter who's in the 8th grade, when there is some reading, I give her this and she reads it to herself. But you can read it out loud, or you can play it on the app, the homeschool app from The Good and the Beautiful. So now, since I've showed you year 1, year 2 is going to be pretty much identical. So again, we have the course book here, and same thing, the lessons are labeled so clearly. You see what you're talking about. Every page at the beginning will tell you if you need to prep anything, what items you're going to need, the Let's Connect questions. So it's very seamless, very, very easy to teach. And you have all of the same components, obviously, on different subject matter because you're studying different people and time periods, all within the outline that I gave you at the beginning. So that's it, you guys. I hope you enjoyed this overview review on this curriculum. I hope it answered some of the questions you may or may not have known that you had. Remember that the links to The Good and the Beautiful are in the description box, and they do let The Good and the Beautiful know that you came from my channel, which is a blessing to me, so thank you for that. And if you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment down below. Give this video a thumbs up if you were happy to see a curriculum review on my channel. It has been a long time since I dedicated a video to this. I've been reviewing things really quickly in like day in the life videos, but I wanted to sit down and do a dedicated video on history. So I hope that you guys were happy to see this on my channel. So give me a thumbs up so that I know that that was the case, and I will see you guys again in my next one very soon. Bye, friends.